everybody. I'm William O'Neill, a student at Herrick's High School. I'm so excited to be joined today by someone who's not only made history, but has made a real difference in our community. Councilwoman Christine Liu. She is the first Asian American elected to the North Hempstead Town Council and represents District 4, which includes parts of Herrick's, Great Neck, and New Hyde Park. She is a dedicated public servant, a former PTA and Little League coach, and someone who's been a strong voice for diversity, safety, and inclusion. Today, we're going to learn about her story and how young people can make a difference too. Councilor Liu, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, William, for having me here.
So I'm going to start off with a little personal questions, how you know, some inspiration. Your family moved here from the U.S. when you were very young, and you built your life here. How has your family's journey shaped the way you helped your community today?
Okay, so I was born in Taiwan, and I came when I was 1 year old. So as a baby, growing up in Woodside, Queens, played hopscotch, jump rope, handball, and dodgeball in the park. But at home, I was also eating dumplings and fried rice and speaking Chinese. So growing up in the best of both worlds, I feel. And that's really still shaped my values as well. I was always taught to work hard, to value education, and to help others. And I think I've been doing that all my life here in the U.S.
Before running for office, you were a part of a lot of volunteer groups like the PTA, Girl Scouts. How's it helped you motivate you to keep working as a public servant?
Well, just like I was saying, I was always taught to work hard and to help others. So whatever environment I'm in, if I'm in church, then I'm teaching Sunday school. If I'm in the school, I'm helping with the PTA. If I'm in the community, I was the Little League, softball, Girl Scout troop leader. So wherever I go, I just plug myself in and try to help my neighbors and help those around me in the community. And that's just the way I've grown up. Yeah.
And as a member of the town council, I don't think a lot of people maybe don't vote in local elections or maybe, don't know what you do. What do you do as your job?
Well, as town council person, it is mostly on the local government level. It's not your typical 9-to-5 job, right? Sometimes my hours range from 7 in the morning when someone calls me about an issue or to like 9 o'clock at night when I'm still at an event. But mostly, I deal with a lot of local issues that affect your daily life. If there are some sidewalks that are, uneven, potholes, there are tree issues, right? But at the same time, there's also things in the park that you would like to see improved in our town parks. I also review the budget, I pass legislation, so it's a whole gambit of things. So my job is different on a day-to-day basis, but at the end of the day, it's all about how to improve the quality of life for our residents in the town of North Hempstead.
Yeah. And kind of following up on that, you represent a lot of different people inside our district. How do you make sure everyone's voices are heard? Someone that calls you, make sure they're heard.
It is true. I am the council person of District 4 for parts of Great Neck South, New Hyde Park, and Herrick's. And I believe that my district is probably the most diverse district in all of the town of North Hempstead. So I try to do my best by going to all the community events of every group, and I hear everybody out. I also have office hours. I go to different groups, whether it be New Hyde Park seniors, or I go to Milan, which is an Indian group meeting, and I have office hours there, so I can hear what everybody's feeling, what issues that they have, and I also have monthly newsletters that I send out to the whole community so they know what's going on in the town. I also do a lot of social media as well, so I get the word out as to what programs we have, and any phone call, any email, I answer them all from everybody. Doesn't matter, young, old, everybody in between.
Well, I just heard you have a newsletter. What's included in the newsletter?
Oh, things that are on our town agenda that we have every month. We have 2 meetings a month. So laws that get passed, budgets that get approved, all of these things I do put on my newsletter, and also things that are happening in our town, different programs, different events. I make sure everybody's up to date on it. So I do send it out twice a month.
And is there any current issues that you're currently really focused on working on in the district?
Oh, there's There's always a ton of issues.
Is there anything like in particular?
Well, let's say...
Listen, you can say a couple things.
Yeah, so for instance, when I was campaigning, I know that I wanted to make sure that we had, everybody in our community felt safe, that our downtowns were revitalized with less empty storefronts, right? So, and also programs for our seniors.
Yeah.
Those are major things that I was working on. And for us right now in Great Neck, we're going to have a new supermarket. Aldi supermarket is coming into Great Neck Plaza, which I helped to secure. I reached out to the corporate office and I gave them a number of different areas in my district where I felt like Aldi's would be a good fit, and they chose Great Neck Plaza, so I'm really happy to bring businesses into our district. But on the same note, at the next town board meeting, there's going to be legislation put forth to ban the feeding of pigeons in commercial property areas. So if you know, you're in Herrick School District, right? What's on the corner of Herrick's Road and Hillside Avenue?
That old Nathan's?
The old Nathan's, right? And when you look up and you look at the wires there, what do you see?
All the pigeons.
How many?
A lot.
Like hundreds of them usually perched there, because people are feeding them at the different various parking lots there, and some of the storefronts are empty there. So it actually is not very hygienic, and the businesses don't like seeing a swarm of birds there, and they do leave a mess, right? As you can imagine, after feeding, they do other things there. So we are going to have legislation on the agenda in our town board meeting to ban pigeon feeding there. And so things like that happen in government, and when we can ban those things, it would probably make it a lot easier for those businesses to operate and to thrive and succeed.
You've organized a lot of programs and cultural diversity programs. Why is cultural celebration in your district and everywhere so important?
Yeah, I think we all love America.
Yeah.
But we all come from somewhere, right? And so we have roots and different cultures that we take pride in as well, right? And so whether it's Italian Heritage Month, whether it's celebrating Diwali or Lunar New Year, when we celebrate these holidays and cultures, I think people feel very proud. And at the same time, we're showing that in our town we embrace diversity and we celebrate diversity, and that makes us stronger. So I think it is important to celebrate different cultures and ethnicities and their holidays as well.
And obviously, I'm in Herrick High School, and as a parent and a community leader, what advice do you have for students that want to make a difference in the community, want to do what you do?
Oh, okay. So that's always wonderful. I always love to see youth involvement in government, but I think that our students need to think about what they're passionate about. Like you like TV studio, and so you're here at North Shore TV. If you're passionate about the environment or global warming or beach cleanups, whatever you're passionate about, then that's the good start. Whether you get involved in school clubs, you volunteer at the town during a lot of our Arbor Day, for instance, Earth Day is here right now. You can get involved in those kind of activities and do community service. If you're into scouting, right? There's different ways that you get involved, but I think you first have to realize what you really are passionate about, and then we can work on those areas and help plug you into areas of service towards your passions, I guess.
Yes. And for someone who's at Herrick's or a student like me who's at Herrick's High School, why is it important for them to learn local vote? Not just the president and Congress. Why is it important to know the people like you in local government?
Right. Local government is where everything starts, and it affects your daily life, right? So if you have sidewalks that are all lopsided, then how are you walking to school, right? So little things like that you don't realize, but that's what's important, right? I get lots of emails from students, even at Herrick's Pond or Ritter's Pond. They would they like fishing, but there's no more fish left, let's say. Can you replenish the fish? Or what's going on with this cleanup? Why is this road so filthy? And so we want our town and our communities we want to feel safe, we want to enjoy it. They want, different things at the parks and different playground equipment. So these are things that affect what you do here on a day-to-day basis. So I think local government is where you should feel most invested in and where you can actually see a difference. So if you actually go and clean up Herrick's Road or Lakeville Road, then you'll actually see a visible difference in your community. So I do think that the youth need to get involved on a local level and local government.
And like you're speaking about like cleaning up the road, cleaning up this, what is there any project you'd like to highlight that you've done as a councilwoman? Like any like clean up the road like that?
Right. So yesterday, I was just at Herrick's High School where we did a town cleanup where we hosted with the environmental club, and about like 40 or 50 students came out, and we put on gloves, rolled up our sleeves. We all had Earth Day T-shirts on, and we went out and we cleaned up the Herrick's campus, basically. Picked up all the litter and the trash. You don't realize how much trash there is sometimes, but things like that. One step at a time, making our community more beautiful, environmentally clean. That's a good step. So I've done a lot of these kind of cleanups and a lot of plantings as well with different student groups and different organizations where we went to different parks in Great Neck, for instance, and we did tulip plantings throughout all these parks. I think we planted 2,000 tulips, and we're ready to go see them popping up now.
Yeah.
Right.
And as for local government, and what's some ways that students can get involved in helping local government?
Well, I do have internship opportunities. Last summer and throughout this year, I had like 5 or 6 interns from Great Neck South and from Herrick's. And I really hope that more students would want to participate in local government, and I'm really happy to have them in my office. And whatever they enjoy doing, whether they like research and writing, working on newsletters, if they like social media, they can work on my social media. Or if they like to do cleanups, they can help organize different drives and cleanups. So students can always feel free to contact my office if they're invested or interested in internships. But we also have other programs that we do. Like I sponsor the Youth Police Academy. I work with the Nassau County Police Department, and I bring in about 50 students each year. And they go through what it's like at law enforcement, and the different areas of law enforcement and what they would be interested in. So just getting involved, reaching out to my office and seeing your interests and how we can connect those interests is really important.
And just a quick follow-up, what type of work does an internship do, what does an intern do for you as a councilwoman?
So like I was just saying, last year it depended on your interests, right? So if you liked social media, then you can work on my social media throughout the summer or throughout the year. If you enjoy let's say these cleanups, then you can help me organize cleanups with different organizations. If you liked research and writing, then you can help work on some policies, you can help work on newsletters, things that help get the word out about what's happening in government. So I think it really depends, and I really try to work on your strengths and help you and highlight your strengths when you're interning with me.
And you were just talking about like some groups you work with at Herrick's. Is there any groups you like to highlight that you work with? Or
I have so many, though. So I work a lot with Lakeville Estates Civic Association here in New Hyde Park. They really let me know what's going on in the community and things that need to be fixed or improved on. I do work with Tsuji, which is a Buddhist foundation. They have a lot of volunteers to help with the cleanups, and we've done a lot of work together as well. There's the Ismaili community that also helps with a lot of our cleanups and environmental issues. And then we have a lot of drives that we work on. Like we have our turkey drives and other drives, clothing drives, a lot of different organizations. So there's just too many to name. But I do work with a lot of senior groups as well. Yeah.
And one more question on this topic. How many people come out to those drives, like the food drives and the clothing drives? How many people come out to
like to volunteer?
Yeah, or just how many people like donate?
Oh, so for instance, with our turkey drive, we had donations, I don't know, like 40, 50 turkeys that we donated to in the Spinney Hill community, and that was wonderful. Everybody who came who wanted a turkey picked up a turkey, so that was very nice. But on these cleanups, I always get like 20 or 30 volunteers, and that makes the work so much easier, right? If it's just you and I, William, on Herrick's Road, it'll take us like 5 days to do, right?
Want to be out the door.
Exactly. So 20 or 30 people getting, rolling up their sleeves, getting to work, the work gets done very quick.
Looking more ahead to what you do, what are some like long-term goals you want to achieve as a councilwoman?
Long-term goals. I just started. Right? It's like you asking a freshman when they go into high school, what are your long-term goals in high school?
What do you want to do for a living?
What do you want to do for a living, right? So funny. So to me, the long-term goal is so that my residents thrive, they feel safe and secure, and they enjoy living in the town of North Hempstead. And that businesses succeed here. We have businesses that like to move in and provide services for our community. And I feel like a goal would be if everybody respected one another and was kind to one another. That's what I'd like to see long term for our town. Yeah.
Is there any thing you want to see in the future, kind of on that aspect? Do you want anything you'd like to see, especially in the future in our community?
Well, I would love it if everybody just really enjoyed where they lived, worked, and played. If everyone, sometimes they say that it's very difficult to live in Long Island or in North Hempstead because it's a bit expensive, right? So finding ways to make things more affordable here for everybody, especially for our seniors, actually, because they're on fixed incomes. Providing programs like we do, we have Project Independence, where we help them with transportation and food shopping to make sure that you grew up here, you worked hard here, and you can still afford to live here and enjoy North Hempstead. So those are some of the goals that I have. Yeah.
And when were you were elected back in?
I was elected in 2023, but I started January 1 of 2024.
Yeah. And what was your first impression about running office? What were you surprised about?
You mean while I was running on the campaign or after when I was elected?
Both.
Both. Okay. It's a lot of hard work, right? So they told me it was a part-time job, but no, to do the job well, it's more than full-time. Yeah. Because you have a lot of people with a lot of issues and things to improve on in the town. And so my day really doesn't end. The emails of all the different situations of people who have problems, it's constant, so you're constantly addressing all those issues, and then policy-wise, and then budget-wise. You just didn't realize how much work there was, I guess, So that was kind of surprising, but it's also really good to know that I can help people and help them solve all of their problems and issues. That's very satisfying too. So it kind of makes all that effort that you put in and all the work that you put in very rewarding as well.
And on that same aspect, what are some things that you do as a councilwoman that maybe the public doesn't see, but you like them to know about?
That's a good question. Things that you don't see. So a lot of times, what gets put in the papers or on social media, it's only a little tip of the iceberg, right? But all the work that goes behind something is probably what you would like more people to know about. But nobody wants to read all that. It's like newspapers. You don't want to read the whole thing. You just want to get the little snippet of something.
You want to get the headline.
You just want to get the headline. But every event that the town puts on, there's so much time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears that go through each one. Like, for instance, I'm going to be putting forth, we're helping to co-host a dragon boat festival in October, right? It's really cool. It's like, for those who don't know, it's like racing, like rowboat racing, kind of like that. Boating on the water in these races. And to get all the teams here, all the sponsors here, all the food vendors here, all the staffing and promotion, that's so much, right?
That's all you don't see.
But then you only see the day of that event. Yeah. And oh, wow, it's so wonderful, but there's so much time, energy,
months of planning.
Exactly. So.
And as a councilwoman, you've spoken against hate in our community and forms of discrimination. What gives you the courage to speak up against people who are going to say you down, and how can young people be allies in these moments?
So you have to speak out, and you have to speak against any kind of hate or racism whenever it rears its ugly head, Because if you don't, people will feel like it's okay, or they'll be more bold to do even more. So I feel like whenever we see some kind of racist symbol or any racist slurs, you have to be upfront about it and out and about and just cut it off and call it out for what it is. And so that we can just put an end to it right from the beginning. And that's so important. And I think when the young people, students like yourself, when they call it out too for what it is, whether it's bullying or racial slurs, I think that's very powerful. So that young people feel emboldened and encouraged to speak out and not afraid. So when we as electeds do it, that we're out there in front of you and that you also feel courageous enough to speak out. I think that's really important.
Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you for having me here, William.
No problem. And your story was really inspiring. I think that's a lot of stuff that people didn't know about, especially at the local level of government. You know, I know some people don't even vote in those.
I know, and you know, you had asked me if I have any long-term goals or things I want people to remember, right? So I feel like campaigning and getting elected as the first Asian American council person, that was a lot of hard work. And to do so, I'm actually the only Asian American elected on all of Long Island, not just in the town of North Hempstead.
Didn't know that.
Right. Yeah, so I've helped to break a lot of the ceilings and barriers, and I really hope that that creates an opportunity or pathway for more to want to strive and do more in local government, right? And to run for office. And so it's not as difficult for the next person, for any Asian American or any Asian American female to do that. So hopefully there'll be more opportunities for everybody, and it won't be something that we have to make history on anymore,
exactly.
Right?
Well, one more question I just thought about it. Do you want to do anything after being a councilwoman? Do you want to go any more up in government, or that's about it?
I think I'm fine for now, William. Okay, it's a lot of work already, and it's very rewarding to help your community. And I'm very happy where I am, so I don't have any plans or higher aspirations yet. But thank you for asking.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for speaking to us and everything you do for communities. And thank everyone for tuning in. Hope you learned something new. I hope you feel empowered and involved in the community. See you next time.